Man, what up, though, gang? This your boy Prince Raw back again with another reaction, man. You feel me? Man, we up to 29 subscribers. Man, so shout out to the new subscribers, you know what I mean? Man, welcome to the Imperium gang. Man, today I want to react to pretty much SARS. For all y'all who don't know, man, your boy, you know what I mean? Originally, I'm born in Africa, so they're like a police force or whatever in Nigeria that pretty much been on the news for the wrong, you know what I mean, wrong situation. So yeah, that's what we gonna, you know what I mean, we're gonna check out. Like I said, gang, we do everything over here. We're gonna play video games, we gonna, you know what I mean, we're gonna react to a little bit of everything from the parasocial streamer stuff all the way to the important stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Nigeria 2020. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS for short, is one of the deadliest government organizations in the modern world. Feared across the entire country, this task force is notorious for countless unlawful killings, abductions, and even atrocities so severe, words can hardly do them justice. Having paid off several politicians and judges to look the other way, SARS dominates most of the country and continuously exploits people to live like gods. However, a group of hackers from 4chan named Anonymous fight back.
Man, that's crazy work, you feel me? Like, that's kind of how it is at the crib, bro. Like, the police extort your ass. That's the best way to explain it, bro. Like, I ain't gonna say all the police, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the average police officer don't got no strap, no squad car or whatever like they do here. Man, average police officer walking on 2 feet, you know what I'm saying? Probably got a little stick on them, you know what I'm saying? And when I mean a stick, I mean an actual stick, like a baton, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I think they're like a special paramilitary group, so they got choppers and shit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, bro, that's how a lot of Africa is, bro. Well, not even say Africa, bro, a lot of third world countries, you go to Mexico, gang, and you go down the wrong neighborhood, they might be asking you for a little bit of change, you know what I'm saying?
In an attempt to rescue the Nigerian people, they hack government websites, hold protests around the globe, commit fraud, and even get Kanye West involved. This is the story of how 4chan came head-to-head with an entire African country. This is 4chan vs. Nigeria.
That's dope. And I don't mean to pause it again, but that's funny because I'm actually getting into cybersecurity, so that's kind of dope. I guess the video ties in together. I didn't even know what 4chan was. I thought it was probably like a protesting group. But
can you please just hear me out?
No. All work management platforms are the same.
Monday.com is the one you'll actually love.
No,
in 1992, the Nigerian government had a massive issue. Criminals were running rampant across various southern cities, stealing, kidnapping, and collecting firearms. This scared off investors and consequently turned Nigeria into one of the most dangerous places in the world. The police commissioner at the time, Simeon Dalini Medina, believed it was his duty to combat this widespread rampage and begin a new golden age of peace and prosperity in the country. He bolstered police defenses and formed a new group called the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS.
That's great thinking, right? Because that is how you build an economy, bro. If people are terrified to open up businesses like stores, you know what I mean, like shopping centers, you know what I mean, mechanic shops, whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever business, if you don't feel protected enough to open this entity which will service the community and jobs and, you know, other aspects of it, you know what I'm saying, but your economy is going to fail. So it had a great start. Whoever, you know, dude had a great idea or whatever. It just, I'm trying to figure out where it all went south.
For short. The undercover officers were allowed to wear civilian clothing, which caught many criminals off guard. SARS was initially a massive success, and under Simeon's leadership, they made Nigeria much safer. In the early 2000s, Simeon was transferred to another part of the Nigerian government. Even after his departure, SARS continued to grow bigger and stronger, quickly spreading to all parts of Nigeria. But good things never last. As time went on, corruption slowly crept in, and the organization that initially aimed to operate in the shadows would shift focus, so to speak. First, they blocked and searched vehicles on the road, but instead of searching for criminals, the stops became opportunities to collect bribes from drivers. Those who refused to cooperate were met with roughness, and in some cases, they were never seen again. One time, a bus driver was coldly shot for refusing to pay a bribe. As SARS expanded, it became increasingly involved in the everyday lives of Nigerians across the country. The group that was once put in place to defend its citizens was now slowly turning against them, yet they still insisted that they were for the people. By the late 2000s, SARS became drunk with power, transforming into an organization filled with unchecked brutality. Officers were committing atrocities on a daily basis without any repercussions, and some reports even blame certain members for engaging in ceremonial practices with live victims, becoming something far darker than meets the eye. To make
Niggas at the crib be tweaking, bro. I'm keeping 100 with you, bro. Niggas at the crib be tweaking, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the dark truths about like African shit that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Like niggas at the crib be, man, they believe in that, you know what I'm saying, the crazy shit, and let's just say they partake in a lot of crazy shit.
matters somehow worse, they did this all while being dressed as civilians, which made it almost impossible for the citizens of Nigeria to know they were in the presence of an officer. These operatives did whatever they wanted, and it seemed as though there was no one who could stop them. To the Nigerian people, it was clear that SARS had become a monster, and they couldn't just stand idle. So they took to social media in an attempt to bring awareness to the world of viciousness that they were dealing with every day. Fortunately, one brave group heeded the call, 4chan's very own Anonymous. At this point in time, they were actively targeting corrupt individuals and organizations to put an end to evil around the globe. As some members began to take note of what was occurring at the hands of SARS, they launched Operation Nigeria in 2016.
Join us with #OpNigeria to fight corruption.
Attached to the tweet was a link to a pastebin with more details on the operation, describing the savagery with which Nigeria treated its citizens and the theft of hundreds of billions of dollars from already impoverished taxpayers. It just wasn't fair. Seeing this, Anonymous called upon the government to end corruption and instructed its officials to terminate SARS once and for all. As part of this campaign, Anonymous decided to make their voices heard and launched numerous cyber attacks against Nigerian government websites. Soon, dozens of their sites were compromised. The Department of Justice, Customs Office, Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, and even the obscure Road Building and Research Institute were hit. It was absolute carnage, and the Nigerian government was in full panic mode. However, things only got worse for them. Anonymous was able to hack into their national database websites. And not only did they steal information, they also littered the site with banners to show the Nigerian people that they weren't alone. They then dumped files straight from the government databases for all to see, revealing even more widespread corruption within the state. But Operation Nigeria was only a part of the much larger Operation Corruption. And even though Anonymous would hack into their websites literally when they got bored, after a few months, it would simply die out. Many members of Anonymous would move on to other trending events, and it seemed as if Operation Nigeria had gone completely inactive. The Nigerian government slowly began to recover from the embarrassment that Anonymous had caused, and behind the scenes, they worked tirelessly to bolster their cyber defenses. At this point, they were confident that they had won the war and successfully fought off Anonymous, at least for now. But even after the cyber attacks, little changed. SARS continued its
That's one of the dope thing about like the cybersecurity thing, bro. That's why I want to get into it. Man, them boys be wizards, man. You feel me? Them boys be wizards, man.
campaign of fear.
Them boys who really in that, like the Anonymous dudes, man, them boys is wizards, bro.
Against everyday Nigerians, while the government still refused to do anything about it. This time, the group took extra precautions, making sure no evidence was left behind, and actively preventing any documentation of their actions. Even when the attacks were captured on video, agents wore face masks to conceal their identity and evade responsibility. This was worsened when they issued orders against certain fashion choices like dreadlocks.
So bro went from, all right, we're gonna do this shit broad day and rob you. Now I'm gonna have the same mask, same accent, just don't act like it's not me. That makes sense, bro.
And long hair on men, as well as nighttime parties, all to extinguish African culture. About a year later, in 2017, the citizens of Nigeria finally had enough. They took to the streets in peaceful protest to spread awareness of the SARS brutalities and demanded that the government finally disband the group. One of the movement's main leaders, who went by the name Segalink on Twitter, began #EndSARS on social media. Social media quickly flooded with passionate Nigerians calling for help and sharing their stories of what they've endured. Activist groups, global media companies, and even the UN soon started to pay attention. #EndSARS became a critical issue around the world, and it quickly rose to the #1 trending hashtag on Twitter. Due to this international backlash, the Nigerian government felt pressured to do something about the situation. So top Nigerian officials all met up together to come up with a solution, and after countless hours of deliberation, they finally came up with a brilliant idea. An idea so good that there was no way anyone could say otherwise.
Bro, usually them niggas ain't gonna end that shit. All they're gonna do is disband them niggas and meld them into other units. So now instead of it being this problem of this one unit, it's gonna be a problem of multiple units.
It was airtight, foolproof, simply amazing. Okay, this is what they came up with. Instead of just disbanding the group, as everyone was requesting, they decided that they would do nothing. They would then go on to tell everyone that the group was fully reformed, and that SARS was now a peer organization.
Right.
After, they began the movement #SupportSARS in a crazy attempt to get everyone on their side. Of course, this absolutely infuriated Nigerian citizens. Why would they ever support an organization that made their lives worse on a daily basis? The people of Nigeria weren't stupid and knew the reforms were nothing but lies. They wouldn't settle for anything other than the complete disbandment of SARS, so they continued the protests in hopes that they could keep the attention of human rights organizations even as the Nigerian government tried to brush everything under the rug. But after all their efforts fell short, their last and only hope was the return of Anonymous.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 4.
Check that out, my boy. I'm gonna check that out right now in the middle of the video.
In some countries, sending the wrong email can get someone followed, silenced, or worse. The best way to be 100% secure is with Proton Mail. It's fully engineered so that no one else can listen in. With end-to-end encryption, it ensures that messages are only accessible between the sender and the receiver, and is even safe from email trackers. It's used by activists.
I don't know about that, big bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know about that, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to check it out. That's what's up, you know what I'm saying? But
Until October 3rd, making it harder to platforms like and for many, it felt like SARS would long years had passed since Anonymous had left Nigeria, and for many, it felt like SARS would be a never-ending nightmare. Social media platforms like Instagram even flagged SARS-related posts as misinformation, making it harder than ever for the truth to gain traction. That is, until October 3rd, what seemed like a normal Sunday was quickly turned upside down when a SARS officer shot a man in the middle of a busy street, stealing his car and speeding away. Unbeknownst to the SARS officer, a bystander was recording the whole thing, and they made one decision that would change the world forever. They uploaded it to the internet for all to see. The video and the heartbreak that followed spread online faster than light. News outlets everywhere covered what had happened, and #EndSARS once again began trending all across major social media platforms. Instagram even publicly apologized for flagging all of the EndSARS posts. After a week of non-stop protests and mounting pressure from human rights groups and foreign governments, the Nigerian president finally folded, announcing SARS would be disbanded for good.
right.
Disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people.
With this, many people around the world believed the reign of SARS was finally over, and a new age of peace in Nigeria would begin to bloom. But the government had made this promise before, and every time, nothing changed. However, the Nigerian government had a hidden trick up its sleeve. Even though SARS was officially disbanded, it wasn't really gone. They just gave it a fresh coat of paint, introducing Special Weapons and Tactics, or SWAT for short. This new organization would literally have all of the same SARS officers, just new uniforms and a new name. It wasn't just a
Hey, bro, hey, these niggas really don't give a fuck, bro. I'm thinking they're at least gonna disband it and like move everybody into different units. These niggas said, nah, you know what we're gonna do? We just gonna rename it. Y'all don't like SARS? Cool, that's fine. We didn't like the name anyway. My dog, Obine, said that the name was cool. I disagreed with him. So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna change it to something cooler. SWAT. It's gonna be way better, gang. You know what I'm saying?
form, it was a rebrand. With all eyes watching, Nigerian citizens continued to launch massive peaceful protests across the country. But SARS responded with force, deploying water cannons, tear gas, and in some reported cases, even live rounds. More lives are lost during the protests, and among them, a member of 4chan's Anonymous. The news ignited outrage within the hacker collective.
Hey, I just saw a short on YouTube about that, right? It said insurgent math, right? So if you got 10 insurgents or whatever, combatants or enemies, right? And it's pretty much a guy explaining the problem in Afghanistan, Iraq. It's like, if you got 10 insurgents and you gun 2 down, how many insurgents you have? Everybody's like 8. He's like, no, that is logical math. Really, you have 20 insurgents. Because those 2 insurgents you killed have 6 friends each. You feel me? And those 6 friends were probably, they really didn't want to be a part of the organization. They was on the edge of it, but now you just killed their friend. Now you just made that decision for them. You feel me?
And watching from the sidelines was no longer an option. Soon after, the group posted a message, publicly declaring their intent to take action against the Nigerian government in a renewed push to end police brutality, this time for good. Quickly, Anonymous decided to fire some warning shots and leaked a police database, which contained around 1,442 names and addresses of SARS officers who for years had harassed, stolen from, and attacked innocent civilians. Now exposed, some panicked and fled the country, though many still held strong in the wake of what was to come. But that was only the beginning. Influencers, celebrities, and even international figures got involved and began to comment on the situation. Even Twitter's then CEO, Jack Dorsey, played a big role in raising awareness. Needless to say, the people of Nigeria were beyond delighted. Anonymous decided to add fuel to the fire and hack the Nigerian government's main Twitter account. The Nigerian government was absolutely furious, so they launched Operation Crocodile Smile 6, a military campaign aimed at tracking members of Anonymous and monitoring citizens who criticized the government online. Anonymous didn't take kindly to this and posted an official video declaring cyber war on the Nigerian government.
Hiding under.
That's a funny ass name, Anonymous Crocodile 6. So was there an anonymous, a smiling crocodile? Was there a smiling crocodile 1, 2, 3, and 4?
SARS started
5?
to kill innocent people due to not supporting the leading party, protesting as well as the way people look for their ethnic styles of clothing or hairstyles. The SARS crimes of killing, torturing, beating, and arresting have been protested widely under the hashtag #EndSARS, especially when they increase over the last couple months.
The stars were quickly aligning, and Anonymous wasn't alone this time. They had backup. Like some kind of cyberpunk Knights of the Round Table, groups like White Rabbit Gang and even GoSec joined the charge. Despite the Nigerian government's official Twitter account,
Insurgent math. You took out 1. You thinking it's less? Really, you just doubled.
already being hacked, the Nigerian government insisted that they were ready for any attacks the groups threw at them. After all, they'd had years to prepare. Since Anonymous's attacks in 2016, they did prepare.
Hi, I'm JT and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all, big tech right now.
Brody, I don't believe in your search engine. You could keep your search engine, bro, okay?
Right? But of course, whatever precautions were made, it wouldn't be nearly enough for what was to come.
Why does your search engine have to be for conservatives? Like, what does that mean? So you're only going to give me information for conservative? I need information. Information has no, you know what I mean? Knowledge has no, oh no, this is only knowledge for conservative Christian values. The fuck does that mean, bro? Give me the facts. Don't give me the fluff.
Hacked into their databases with ease and exposed more corruption to the people of the world. Anonymous then attacked where it would hurt the most, the Nigerian Central Bank. Within hours, they were able to take their website fully offline. Nigerian bank executives were in an all-out panic as they began to lose billions of dollars while the bank was inoperational. Despite this, they refused to admit that it had been taken down and straight up lied to the customers, claiming that it wasn't even hacked. They even went so far as to put up an offline version of the site in an attempt to hide the fact that there was absolutely nothing they could do to combat Anonymous. Enter White Rabbit Gang, who leaked 3,500 of the bank's private employee emails to the public. Meanwhile, the First Bank of Nigeria became another target, as they were caught deducting funds from accounts associated with protesters. This move would bankrupt innocent people who trusted the bank with their hard-earned cash. In response, Anonymous took down their whole site for multiple days, making investors lose confidence and once again costing another Nigerian bank over $1 billion in damages. Anonymous would then hack the Nigerian stock exchange, causing unfathomable amounts of financial damage to the country's elites. They then DDoSed the government's anti-corruption agency, ironically, in protest of its corruption. Later, they went after the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, and countless other government websites. The Nigerian government was in absolute shambles. Their digital infrastructure was crumbling, and every attempt to track down a single member of Anonymous ended in failure. Anonymous would then go on to take down the Nigerian Army's official website, which was actually one of the main departments tasked with finding them. Every time the military managed to get the site back online, Anonymous would just knock it back down again, even though Anonymous brought down government sites in minutes. For Nigerians on the ground, the real system wouldn't crash so easily. In the former capital of Lagos, protests intensified at the Lekki toll gate, drawing national attention.
Nigeria and called for an end to the violence.
This was by far the largest protest they have been able to organize, and more Nigerians than ever were standing together. However, only a few hours later, military trucks arrived, and later that night, disaster struck. The footage is extremely rare, but what happened was chaotic. It showed people falling, injured, or worse. Just as expected, the government denied any involvement the very next day, pretending like nothing had happened. The army claimed that they were never present, and the governor asserted that he had no control, suggesting that a higher authority was involved that day.
Exactly.
We have not recorded any fatality as against the widespread circulation on social media.
Doubtful of these claims, international news organizations carried out their own investigations around the site.
The human rights group Amnesty International says it has received credible and disturbing evidence that Nigerian security forces and at least 12 people.
After CNN conducted a thorough research, they found bullet casings from Serbia on the ground. Obtained documents would later reveal that the Nigerian government had been buying Serbian weapons between 2005 and 2016. Current and former Nigerian military sources confirmed that these bullet casings were the same ones used in the army. Two experts also confirmed that the shape of the bullet casing indicates they did in fact use live rounds. Behind the scenes, the Nigerian government acted swiftly to take control of the situation and went on to block social media across the nation. They enforced curfews, went on a mass arresting spree of protesters, and issued 90-day freezes on bank accounts.
They ain't thinking, hey man, let's fix the problem. They're like, man, let's punish them. Maybe these grown folks will just shut up and listen and act like nothing's wrong. And that makes a lot of sense, bro. A government that runs like a dictatorship makes perfect sense.
Many eyewitnesses were forced to flee the country, while some were offered money to take back their initial testimonies. A journalist who covered the protests was arrested and detained for 5 days before being freed on bail. As a result, it became extremely dangerous to protest, and many people just gave up. Other major events swept international news by storm, and it seemed like the world had stopped paying attention to Nigeria and had moved on to the next trend. Even though Anonymous would continue to hack into the Nigerian government's infrastructure and leak critical databases, it got to the point where they had already hacked virtually every single one of their digital assets, so there wasn't really much more they could do. Because of this, Anonymous would also begin to focus its efforts elsewhere. In the aftermath, the Nigerian state set up judicial panels to investigate SARS and SWAT. Some people were compensated for what had happened, but a large portion of the population was sadly ignored. To this day, international human rights organizations are still calling for justice. Even though SARS might have officially disbanded years ago, as long as SWAT still remains, the people of Nigeria will not be able to rest.
Man, that's crazy work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the state of the world, bro. It is what it is, man. Hey, this your boy Prince Raw, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. I'll catch y'all in the next video.